"Are you your mother's lawyer?" That's what Dad used to say when he and Mom had an argument. They never had a fight. But whenever there was an argument, that made me to show up and try to stand by whoever is arguing, and that was generally my mom that I did for. But, most of the times, the discussion nearly faded away because they were fed up with my endless discussion points. But what could I do? That was who I was and who I was going to blossom into. What is generally happening for the sake of being normal? Forget about the definition in the dictionaries. If you do not need special care, God forbid, when you're born, then you can be deemed to be normal and can survive. But survival, both physically and mentally, goes successful if you are living on your path that you are born into. What we generally do when we're kids is what we are taught to do or see others doing, acting along the path, system, way that is mostly appreciated by our surrounding, like parents, grandparents, teachers, siblings. And there are also circumstances that we try to fit into, try to have a good life, make good money, meeting and keeping up the standards, and etc. Living a so-called normal life. But generally, what is normal for the society is an illusion created by judgment of people on what others should be like, do like, or look like. And most of the time, we miss our path because it may not fit into the norms created, but we feel obliged to follow those for the sake of peacefulness. Yet, I do not think that one should be an anarchist to follow his or her own path. At the age of 42, I've come to realize that what makes one feel happy and content in life, which is very essential for successful survival, is to follow her own path and live along her own normality. Sometimes you continue to follow your route with the help of others, like your parents, teachers, friends, lovers, who know you well and who can figure out what your path is and what your normality is. If they're good analysts, then you're lucky. If not, then don't worry. Somewhere, someplace, sometime, some event will make you realize it and follow it. Though I have been acknowledged as the lawyer of my mom for several years when I was a kid, no, becoming a lawyer was not actually my childhood dream. It was becoming a mom to those boys and girls at the Johnson & Johnson baby shampoo commercials. I can sympathize that some of the audience do not even recollect those, but they can still follow me. At my first year in lycée at TEDxUskudarAmericanAcademy, for girls, hard to imagine, I came to realize that I had a pretty good voice. Apparently a mezzo-soprano, which I did not have an idea before, but my mom had realized it, and thanks to her, I had a chance to sing at the Akbank Children's Choir for 1 year when I was in primary school. So that year, I took a role in the musical Oklahoma, and it was the best time of my life. I adored it. I said, this is it, this is it. I found it. I was to become a musical singer or an opera singer. Now, of course, not everything that you feel good at or find yourself good at is meant to be your path. And most of the times, those that are not meant for you to become simply remain as hobbies, which is a good thing. In my second year, I had two choices for me to do as extracurricular activities: musical cats or attending to the Model United Nations MUN at its first year in our school. Though I was raised as an obedient woman at the academy, I also believed in my power of persuasiveness and ability in negotiating. And being in a girls' school only had crafted my personality to be able to defend her ideas in matriarchy, far from any fights of, against the other gender, and not try to be wise as a boy, determined as a boy, strong as a boy, hardworking as a boy, etc. So I did not hesitate to attend MUN and left my dream for musical for that year. That choice that I made on my path shaped my life. After that, I attended to the MUN, where the General Assembly was held in The Hague, and we were to act as Liberian diplomats and try to defend and negotiate for Liberian state and people. I had a great time. I was so amazed by everyone who was talking there at the General Assembly, and when I came back, I said, I knew what I want to do. I wanted to negotiate for, claim, defend, prove, and achieve fairness and justice. And I thought I was to become a diplomat, like the ones that I acted for the state of Liberia. But then my dad said, and I said I was to study political sciences, which was a very new department in Turkey back then. And my dad said, no, political sciences is not a fundamental profession. And you know what? If you become a diplomat, you would probably wander all around the world and not be able to raise a family of yourself, like he had seen in many of his friends' lives. Remember my childhood dream? No, that was not a risk that I could take. So he advised that I go to law school and decide later on whom I should become. I went to one of his college friends who was a great lawyer and had known me since I was a baby. And I talked to many lawyers at his office. I wandered around and tried to feel the air of negotiating, mediating, and litigating. And thereafter, at the age of 17, I said, okay, I'm going to study law. I'm going to graduate all with my classmates. I'm going to win the university exam and get to the school I want to. However, every path has its stumbles. I thought it was nearly impossible graduating from this school and winning the school that you want to win and get into, but I failed in the university exam, and I couldn't get into the two schools that I had on my list. And that year was the worst of my life, I guess. All my genius friends, good friends, having won the schools that they had wanted to, and I was there to study one more year with a bunch of losers like myself. Really very humiliating, both for myself and against my family, who had so much belief in me. But a path is a path to follow. I did not give up on my will to become a lawyer. The second year, I wanted to include only 2 schools again in my list for the university entrance, but my father said this time, no, 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 not 2 schools, we're going to have more under the list. But I got into the first one that I had on my list and started to the faculty at the Istanbul University. Along the faculty, I met extraordinarily well-equipped professors and lecturers who made me see, and my passionate friends that I had met, having dreams like myself, what being lawful and just meant, especially in the case studies that we had. I saw the outcomes, the reasonings, the consequences of defending the rights of other people. And I gave up being a diplomat, because then I thought if I were to become a diplomat, I would have defended the state politics. But lawyering was not meant for that, whereas being a lawyer, you could have defended other people's rights in the way that you think it should have been. So I chose to become a lawyer. But then what type of a lawyer? Was there a normality to lawyering as well? That did not become apparent until the last year of my university. And as a good English-speaking woman, thanks to the academy, I was apparently meant for assisting foreign clients in Turkey, which was boosting at the beginning of the millennium. But then again, there were so many ways to assist foreign clients in Turkey as a commercial lawyer. I could have been an in-house lawyer employed by a company. I could have had my own shop and have a one-woman show. Or I could have attended to a law firm and practice with colleagues. Now, being an extrovert all my life, I feed and thrust on collective power, so I'm not a loner. And for having grown from obedient to rebellious at the law school, I had this great energy to defend the rights of those who sought for justice and rightfulness. So being a company lawyer would not do, as I would have then needed to defend company policies, as I was told to do, but rather I chose to defend those who are in need for law and justice as I decide. So I started my career at my father's independent law firm and started as an intern at the commercial law consultancy department. And at the end of 1 year, when I finished my intern, I got this advice, which was very fashionable those days, probably it is still. They said, go and get your master's degree in the UK or US. Now I said, I don't have any intention to go abroad. I want to live here with my family, be here with my boyfriend, marry him. And they said, oh no, that's all right. You would be able to find many other boyfriends where you go to, even better ones. So that should not be a concern for you. Really, it's true. They said it. I said, okay, thank you. And I did not follow their normal way and stayed in the country and at the firm. I was assisting foreigners in Turkey, and what was that? I had some kind of an idea in the first year, but apparently it was negotiating and arguing for the sake of your clients while they were making investments, acquiring assets, and dealing with other parties and other parties' lawyers, and try to get the best legal structure for a deal so that once they are finished with the project that you are assisting them at, they would have least of any legal problems in the future. And I became a negotiator for these deals rather than a litigator, because in the Turkish system, litigation at courts does not give you any chance to speak up, to defend orally. That's what I do. But it's all in writing. So I was trained by them, by my partners, as a negotiator rather than a litigator who used to shut up before the judges. After 15 years of great experience in my former law firm, I started to feel that there is something missing, and I was uneasy, I was complaining all the time. This time, it was my husband's turn to remind me and make me acknowledge that I had to get out of my comfort zone and continue to evolve and run to the future where I find it to be. Now that future found its way through a historical daydream that I had with two of my dearest girlfriends at law school, where we used to study days and nights trying to graduate from the law school. I decided to join them, and now I'm a managing partner in my own law firm, where I still feel the same energy, the same enthusiasm, and the same willingness that I had for defending people all my life at the school, and I'm trying to do the same thing for my clients. I chose to follow my passion and desire for all these, a journey starting from defending my mom, acting as miserable Liberian diplomats, and then acting for many business people that you name them. And not a single morning in the last 18 years, I said, I do not want to do this anymore. Us three wannabe lawyers achieved what we wanted to achieve in life, lawyering in matriarchy, mothers to two, all of us, and fairly good citizens trying to help those in need for justice and law. I saw that how little the social system, the educational system, business life gives you a little chance for you to follow your route. It is always there for you to walk on, and even if you step off it, then you can step on it again and again, as long as you do not give up for what you believe in life and being happy and content in life. I believe it would lead all human life and kind to happiness and prosperity if we could all raise ourselves and develop ourselves on path and in the normality of ourselves, and try to do the same for the ones that we raise as little ones. With all the hope that every one of you here walks along her and his own path and acts along his or her normality, which I am sure is going to be the most beautiful one. Thank you.